The Minister of Education, Tertiary Institutions, has directed the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board (JAMB) to admit only candidates who have attained 18 years in tertiary institutions starting from next year. Maman said this on Thursday in a policy meeting organized by JAMB. Now, earlier on, I spoke with Professor of Linguistics at the University of Ibadan, Francis Egbokhare, on the issue, and I began by asking him his reaction to this new announcement by the Minister of Education.
Well, I think it's pedantic because we can't just be getting to deal with such issues now because there are more serious problems to deal with. I got into the university in 1979 under 17 years, and that was a normal thing. And I think we need to be dealing with more serious issues. Before we reach policies like that, we ought to ask ourselves the question about on what research are we basing these policies? How do we carry out such policies on human systems? It's based on an industrial style approach to education, where we assume that every human being is the same. Human capacities and abilities are variable. And if there is any need for such a policy, it should be based on well-conducted research.
Now, how do you think this policy change will impact the tertiary education landscape in Nigeria, especially considering the large number of young students who qualify for higher education at age 16 or 17 years?
It's going to be injurious. Take the population of the average graduates between 16. Most of them, leaving the secondary school at 15, by the time you are getting to 17, you are already too old for the secondary school system. So let's look at that and look at the fact that Nigeria has a youth bulge. The population of those Nigerians who are teenagers is on the high side. So how do you prevent them from going to school simply because somebody has an opinion about what should be done about just basing entry qualifications on age? This ageism. Population. If you are talking about youth, at what point by the time an average youth gets to 30 years in Europe, in America, he's already so mature in the system that you can hand over the governance of a nation to them. So if you now leave them at 18, you are saying you must wait until 18. What exactly are we trying to achieve? The other danger is that we are going to stifle the private institutions, private universities. Universities will have a problem with enrollment, and then we will now force our geniuses, those who are producing from the unity schools, and our geniuses from the gifted schools. We will now force them now to enroll in other African universities and universities in Europe and America, where we have absolutely no control.
Now, the minister has adjusted the policy to allow 16-years-old to be admitted this year, with 18-year rule to be implemented next year. What are your thoughts on this phased approach?
Is this our problem? Is this our problem now about who gets, at what age people get into this? Look, institutions, universities should be allowed to do some of these things. There's this problem of over-centralization that is killing us. We are beginning to get to a point where government is standing in the way of Nigerians, in the way of the creativity and individual initiative. And the problem with this over-centralization is that it always works with the worst case scenario, using the lowest minimum as the basis for evaluating a system. I don't think we should evaluate a system like that. I think they should just hands off. We are stoking unnecessary controversy. We have more serious problems to deal with. There is a problem of power supply now that there are demonstrations in many institutions where students are saying, look, we cannot afford to pay this and we can't afford to pay that. There are more important issues that have to do with accountability and transparency in the educational system. There are issues that have to do with curriculum and employability. These are critical issues that we should handle, not ageism, dealing with ageism.